Hi, you are listening to 90.3 WBC Upper Montclair. This is the morning buzz. It is officially 7 o'clock a.m. I am your host, JC Bethia, joins my co-host.
Gwen. I'm your co-host, Gwen Streitman, and today we'll be discussing former President Trump testifying in a new case, the New York Daily News walkout, an interview regarding the Strong Student Campaign, and more.
Oh my God, so exciting. But before we get into any of that, we have to start off with your daily updates from the news and esports world. So, introducing the lovely Friday world to Miss Ava Scott. Please tell us what is up in daily news.
Of course. So, good morning. I'm Ava Scott, and this is WMSC News. For our top story, Passaic County Sheriff Richard Burnick's funeral arrangements are set. The sheriff who fatally shot himself in a restaurant bathroom in Clifton this past Tuesday will be laid to rest on Wednesday, January 31st at 10 a.m. The service will be held at the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist in Paterson. We are sending our condolences to anyone affected by this story. In national news, healthcare company Haleon is recalling 8 lots of Robitussin cough syrup due to microbial contamination. Robitussin Honey CF Max Day and nighttime cough syrups may contain severely high yeast levels. Haleon is notifying its distributors and consumers directly and has given them instructions for returning all recalled products. In New Jersey news, New Jersey officials have approved 2 new offshore wind projects. After a 3-month setback, officials are aiming to get the state's clean energy program back on track. The project Leading Light Wind and Attentive Energy 2 are expected to reduce New Jersey's greenhouse gas emissions by 6.4 million tons per year. The projects are expected to provide power in 2031. And now for some weather. Today, we have a cloudy day upon us with light rain occurring in the morning. Temperatures will reach as high as 47 degrees and as low as 41 degrees. If you plan on heading out this morning, make sure you grab an umbrella. This has been WMSC News. Back to you, JT.
All right, thank you so much for all of that. Now, without our new without our sports, some of us also would be nowhere. So, introducing anybody who's familiar with the morning buzz to Mr. Earl Spencer. What's going on in the world of sports?
Thank you, JT. Good morning. I'm Earl Spence, and this is WFC Sports. In the NFL, the Los Angeles Chargers acquired Jim Harbaugh as the head coach after his from Michigan, where he came up winning that championship. Speaking of the NFL, the championship weekend, the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs took on one Super Bowl in the Ravens. In the NFC, the Detroit Lions took on one seed in San Francisco 49ers. A Super Bowl Cincinnati in Vegas on the line Sunday night. Now, in the NBA, the NBA also started to review now, you arrange it on
Thank you, folks. That has been your sports and news updates of the world. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's jump right into the top stories. Now, if you've been a dedicated listener of the Morning Buzz, you know it would not be us if we didn't address everybody's favorite former U.S. president and Republican frontrunner for the 2024 election, Donald Trump. Yesterday evening, Mr. Trump took the stand in a New York courtroom defending himself against allegations of defamation and sexual assault against writer E. Jean Carroll. Denying all allegations against him, POTUS number 45 was very careful in his wording as the overseeing judge, Lewis Kaplan, has placed extreme restrictions on what he could tell the court, as it was already determined that Trump defamed Carroll. While the judge was laying out all the restrictions of his ceremony, Sean Crowley, the writer's attorney, accused the former president of indicating that he would violate all of these rules. The defense rested its case after Trump's testimony, and as the proceeding commander in chief left the courtroom, he could be heard dismissing the entire proceedings as un-American. Nothing surprising, nothing new, the same old, same old. I This is now, from those of you not aware, this is not one of the 91 felony cases that he is currently facing. This is a civil case, so it has different rules. They are allowed to restrict his, as his defense would say, freedom of speech. I know it's everybody's favorite subject, so let's hear thoughts.
On everything. Well, something that definitely catches my eye about it is that not only was he dismissing it as un-American, he was claiming he did not know this woman during said trial. He said under his breath, "I do not know who this woman is. I never met this woman." Very interesting claim from someone who clearly has met this woman.
Interesting claim, but then again, it's not shocking at this point. I mean, like, what else do we gonna expect? He's going to deny everything. I remember watching Diver Whippy Kate. What did Roger say? Deny, deny, deny. And I believe that is a common theme within politics, especially with Mr. Trump here. Oh, he's the front runner, by the way. Very, very likely he will be in office again, honestly, looking at the way everything is going. So buckle up, America.
You still never know, of course. But yes, it is very much looking like he's going to take the Republican nomination.
Can we have somebody like, I don't know, under 40 in presidential office? It's just me.
Yeah, it's great, kind of crazy to put out there, Who would ever imagine that?
I don't even know, man. Now, again, if you've been listening to the Morning Buzz frequently, we touch this topic a lot. But for those of our newer listeners, get prepared because every week something is going on with Trump, something is going on with Biden, something is going on somewhere. Something is going on with everybody. Now we do have other candidates, some younger candidates. Some of them aren't better, but a hot take of mine. I believe that we are in much need of just younger faces, even if they aren't the best. Because at this point, we would much rather be in the hands of a New York sewer rat than either one of our two options. Nikki Haley, strong contender, little on the radical end, but you know what? At least they're not a McDonald's Sprite away from leaving. I don't know, man. It's painful to see America. I think younger generation would definitely relate more if the president was younger.
Yeah, and I think usually even with younger people, even if their views are still kind of radical or a bit more conservative to what the general public may like, even so, a younger person would probably still have more lenient views just from what comes with growing up in these younger generations. It's more common. And it's interesting that a woman is going right up against Trump. But for once, I don't know if I want to see I'm not sure if I want to see a woman win.
Oh man, it's always the one thing I'll end on before we transport to some non-crazy political, at least not as radical as this one, is the biggest thing for those of you asking, well, what's wrong with an older president? The one part that's the one most stressful part about having somebody older in office is a matter of when you hit a certain age, it's just inevitable that you feel like there's nothing left to teach you. Those of you who have very radical grandparents who have very set in stone beliefs, you just hit that certain age where you're just stuck in your ways and it's very impossible for you to feel like there's anything more for you to learn. And that is just not what we need in office right now. I feel like even if you're younger and a little more on the radical side, there's still time for you to learn, time for your time in office to change you. And once you just hit that certain age, you're just so gung-ho on making America great again. Hi, Karamba. Shannon, do you want to say anything? You look all ready.
Yes, so we see obviously in the last few years, especially a massive decline in younger voters. I think that is mainly because of the idea of younger voters wanting to move away from a bipartisan system. We see a lot more voters registering as independent.
And I think that's because there is a notion that they want to choose between the lesser of two evils. And I think because of the amount of differences between the Democratic and Republican Party, it is so polarized at the moment that people don't want to have such liberal or such conservative beliefs. And the two front runners from both parties are going to inevitably choose between a more liberal or a more conservative audience instead of choosing very sort of independent, almost, even the Democratic Party isn't so much liberal as a lot of younger audiences that are into, say, things such as what Bernie Sanders was in. A lot of conservatives think that Trump maybe is even not as radical as you want it to be. Nikki Haley, you see her with a lot of these radical beliefs because a Republican that had Democratic views, at least in the landscape we're seeing with such polarized news outlets, isn't going to have the voters because they don't have ideas that kind of spark conversation as much as people who have more controversial beliefs.
Exactly. Honestly, I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you, Shannon. Gwen, you want to take us into what we got next?
I would love to. Uh, According to APnews.com, an advocacy group for transgender veterans is suing the government over its exclusion of gender confirmation surgery in veterans' health benefits. The Department of Veteran Affairs covers almost all transition-related care for veterans, including hormone therapy, voice training, fertility preservation, and hair removal. However, if trans veterans want to receive surgery, such as genital and breast procedures, they are required to either use private health insurance or pay out of pocket. The Transgender American Veterans Association, also known as TAVA, filed a petition in May 2016 asking the VA to amend its health benefits to cover gender confirmation surgery for trans veterans. But almost 8 years later, the VA has still not responded to or denied the petition. And also, according to mentalhealth.va.gov, transgender people are at least 2 to 3 times more likely to have served in the US military than non-transgender people. So, even though people may think that this isn't a huge population of people, there are a lot of veterans or a lot of trans veterans that need this kind of support from their country, from these social welfares that are supposed to be helping them after they served their country. And it is such a shame to see that they are being left short. And they're getting these other things, and of course, it is good that they're still being supplied transition-related care, but it's almost nothing without all of it. In the way that, like, when trans people have dysphoria, it's totally debilitating, and if you can't fully treat it with getting the surgery too, for some people that, is everything. So I hope that they'll be able to work towards eventually getting that passed.
100%. It's a matter of, regardless of your stance on these issues, which I can only hope is a humane one, nonetheless, everybody has the right to healthcare. Everybody has the right to the care that they need, which basically healthcare said twice, because I don't know how many other ways I can phrase it, because the sad part is the fact that we still need to, I just think it's sad that we need to put as much political focus as we do, because when you put as much political focus on basic human rights, it brings the awareness that there is a disagreement about basic human rights, which it's so on the nail and it sounds so juvenile to even address, but I will always just be in awe about how much discourse surrounds human rights, essentially. People try to mask it with a care for children. People try to mask it in so many asinine different ways, and none of it is ever going to make sense because essentially what we have here is a debate about human rights, and their right to healthcare and their right to do anything like serve in the military. It has never clicked with me. It never is going to click, and plenty of Americans agree. There's just so much discourse going around this, but nonetheless, processes like these are necessary. They are necessary. And we have so many different things that hinder those processes, including heartbreaking ones like this next story I'm about to dive into. Now, across the water over in New York, police have shut down several sex trafficking rings operations in Queens. The New York Police Department executed several warrants closing down over a dozen shops all around Roosevelt Avenue. I read a couple of them were even masking as massage parlors. For the longest time, residents and business owners have made complaints to the NYPD about the concerns of prostitution, and these have been going on all day and night 24/7. These complaints have even reached the New York mayor, Eric Adams, who was on site to witness this police operation, and when the press came to him, one of the quotes that he gave, quote, "It's clear what is taking place here. This really is bringing down the quality of life in this community. And anyone who says this is a victimless crime just really needs to see these inhumane conditions." Um, End quote, obviously. Pretty much, a lot of people will go on to say prostitution is a victimless crime. They pretty much believe that any individual who puts themselves in that situation is doing so themselves, and anybody who were to, for lack of better terms, support their situation is doing so on their specific terms. They will try to defend it as a business transaction. Now, your exact views on this sort of transaction is up to you. I am going to stay away from that with a 10-foot pole. But what I will say is, in regards to the conditions and surrounding businesses and just it's crossing the line from what it is and that discussion into just mistreatment of people in general. So I do think it was about time for the NYPD to step in, and I hopefully, and I all I can do is hope these people are getting the help and the care that they need.
Yes, that is definitely very true, JT. And I will say, um, of course, this is not the case for every single person that gets roped into something like this, but uh, for a lot of women, because women are obviously very often at the center of sex trafficking, they're often forced into it. They're often tricked. They often are left with no other option. So, it's one of those situations that you can't ever look down on the people who are unfortunately being put into it, being that are involved, but it's the people that are facilitating it. So,
Mhm.
just like you said, I'm really glad that they're making waves to try and shut them down. And they've at least shut down a few of them. Hopefully, they keep going into the investigation.
Yeah, totally. And they're at least attempting to increase the ways they prevent it. I know they're increasing the surveillance surrounding it. I see they're using drones to monitor these areas. So good for them. And what I can hope is I have to give accolades to the NYPD for making attempts, but the realism in me must say, I just pray that this doesn't cause worse issues down the line. As you said, a lot of these people, especially the women, are forced into it, and it is no secret to anybody that sometimes these situations only get worse. I'm going to take a break from making myself sad talking about these things. Gwen and I are gonna have a lot more coming back up. So sit tight and don't change that dial.
It is definitely a really good thing that is being put into place because, I mean, 22% of our population is immigrants and refugees, and there are plenty of people that come into this country that don't speak English and don't speak the language, and maybe as they're here, they'll learn it. But it's I think one of the downfalls of America is is assuming that people have to learn English when they're here. And dismissing people that aren't fluent in English. So New Jersey making the waves, and I keep saying that, but
No, you're right.
yeah, New Jersey putting out this legislature to uh for their immigrant population is really important.
Yeah, and I think this is especially surprising when we see statistics stating that New Jersey is tied with New York for the sixth most diverse state in the nation. So saying that we haven't had this legislation in place yet is actually quite surprising, especially compared to states such as Minnesota, that obviously aren't so racially diverse.
Mm. I love small little passive aggressive reminders that not everybody speaks English. I say that like I speak anything other than English. I'm slacking. I need to get on that. But this is honestly this is good. It's such a break from the awful things that we discussed earlier. It is a move in the right direction. I definitely co-sign. Uh, why did I say that? Jesus Christ. It's the first buzz, y'all. Welcome back.
Yeah. No, JT, totally right. And because these are these official documents that people need to be able to read and sign when they come into the country, when they have to deal with something with the government. And if having to go through a translator can be expensive, it can be something that isn't possible for them to get, especially if they don't speak the language, if they don't have family here. It's something that uh, is very prevalent in immigrant families where the child who speaks English will have to translate documents and things for their parents. And to be able to cut that out and allow them to have their own agency and be able to read their own documents. Very, very important.
No, 100%. It always I don't really know how I really do feel when I've worked several jobs, and the amount of times I've had children have to come up to me and speak for their parents on their behalf. It just reminds me every single time. It almost humbles me in a sort of way. And I hope that documents like these will inspire the rest of y'all to be humbled. But good news like this. It's always a breath of fresh air, especially as I said earlier with the heartbreak that we covered earlier. And it's never easy either way to sit down and prepare and to get ready to talk about it. And so, how far are some media outlets willing to go to remind you, the audience, that this news like this to cover is never really easy? Well, New York Daily News has something to say about that. For the first time in 30 years, staff at the New York Daily News walked off the job yesterday. Their reasoning? They want to protest budget cuts by fund owners who allegedly, quote, shrink the budget to fill their profits. That's an exact quote. Around 40 Daily News union members walked the picket line in Midtown Manhattan yesterday in relentless rain, where the news provides a workspace that can only fit 6 people. Now, for those of you who may not know, which considering Montclair, probably a lot of y'all, New York's hometown newspaper hasn't had a headquarters since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, hence the 6 people workspace. A fund company called Alden Global Capital, they took this opportunity to scoop the tabloid as a part of a $633 million acquisition of Tribune Publishing in May of 2021. And since then, the staff of Daily News has been quitting in extreme numbers due to policies requiring a skeleton crew size staff, and they need to get pre-approved for overtime pay. And making matters even worse than they already are, there have been no pay raises for any of these staff in 6 years, over 6 years. That is outrageous. With the importance of the press that we have, with the importance of the press that we need, things like this should not be happening. And I want to support our fellow journalisms across the water.
And we see here at WMSC just how many people it takes to make a station or a news outlet work. And the fact that the Daily News, which is a quite large news outlet, is cutting down to skeleton crew sizes, you could definitely see why people are getting upset about that. It takes a lot of people. It takes a lot of people to proofread. It takes a lot of people to comment and edit. And the fact that they're trying to cut costs allegedly to fund such a small crew is quite disappointing, especially for a newspaper or a news outlet that's been around for such a long time.
6 people? There are 6 of us in this room right now. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 6 people in this room. Thank you for somebody who co-signed that. 6 people in this room right now. Imagine the 6 of us running this station.
That would be insane. Like that would not. We could do it, but like we would have no sleep. So
No, exactly. You know, then you have to overwork people. They're clearly not getting paid well enough. They haven't had any pay raises, which is ridiculous for, any kind of job. You need to, with inflation, like you need to always be getting a pay raise, or at least of some sort, some kind of compensation that is clearly not happening for them. And especially for something that is so important, like the news, where news literally shapes our lives. We wouldn't know what's going on in the world without these newspapers reporting on the news. And it's a shame that something so important is being overlooked.
agreed. But commends to them for taking a stance on what they believe for, because a lot of people would say like silent about this. And we've been seeing a lot more of people in the media starting to come out and protest. Like this isn't the only outlet that's also doing this. So I do commend all of these workers for taking a stance on what they believe is right.
Yes, very, very true. And in a similar actually this is not similar. But coming back to home right here at Montclair, the university has received a $199,442 grant from the New Jersey Office of the Secretary of Higher Education to help students in need. The project is titled Project Restart: Coordinated Care for Students with Some College, No Degree. The grant is part of the funding to help projected workforce needs, with a goal of 65% of working-age New Jersey residents earning a degree in higher education by 2025. Danielle Insalago Egan, the acting associate provost for undergraduate education and acting dean of University College at Montclair, says, quote, "We are grateful the state is partnering with us to prioritize the kinds of student-facing supports we know these students need to ensure they resume their academic journey and stay the course. The Project Restart will work by the campus expanding their campus resources on students who have returned to school, as well as financial and reclamation support." So, so important that something like this is happening. And I'm so glad that Montclair is at the forefront of it. Because education is very, very important. Of course, we all know that. We're here at school, but education is such a privilege. Yeah. But yeah, it's such a privilege to be able to attend a higher education. And when you can't afford it, it's always going to be out of reach for you. Sometimes the welfares of and grants that you can get are never enough. So it's really great that Montclair is seeking to not only help people that want an education, but want to finish their education, because that is such a big thing where sometimes you can't finish, you have to drop out for whatever reason, whatever extenuating reason it is. Now they have a chance to resume.
This is an opportunity I want to take to commend people who are on the edge, hanging on by a thread, trying desperately to finish school, because being in these situations is tough. There are people who aren't where they want to be or could be in life because they hit a roadblock. Life hit them a little earlier than some of their peers. They had to fall out their freshman, their sophomore, halfway into their careers, college careers. Sometimes they had to pull out at the finish line, which is all the more heartbreaking. So, Montclair, pretty critical of you a lot of times, but when you do pull through, you definitely pull through. And then there are other times where there are times where you show up, and there are times where you show out, like this one up here. When they want to replace some facilities here that are very important to its students, such as Montclair State University's L. Howard Fox Theater, which has been a historical part of our college's Department of Theater and Dance. Now, the department uses this space for many student-led productions, as well as it's home to where honestly, Gwen, you know a lot more about this than I do. So rather than me try to spitball with what I do know, I want you to take this over.
Yeah, well, Fox Theater is a big part of the theater department. It's been there since the 60s, and while it's not used as a performance space anymore, it's used for it's used to house sets for plays. And it's still a stage. It's a working space. And they're looking to get rid of it. They're looking to give it to somebody else, even when the theater department does not have that many spaces to begin with. But yeah, there's a petition on Instagram at save_Fox_MSU. You can DM your fave Fox memories.
You are more than welcome to help
If you'd
fill out the
like.
position. You're more than welcome to help save this historic space. There is we need it, especially these days. We need a lot more. We need more. We just need more. I'm trying so hard to think about different ways to spin it off, make myself sound educated, make myself sound like a true journalist. But the short version of the stick is we need more. There's just not enough art. There's not enough love that's spread around in this world, and there's nowhere better to get love and comfort than your local theater, whether it's school, whether it's community, whether it's on Broadway, off Broadway, wherever you get it, and any chance to rid students of their love for art personally is a huge slight on so many of our students. I played the disclaimer over the break, but I want to remind you guys once again before I get yelled at after, these opinions are our own, but don't let that fool you. We're not the only ones that hold this opinion, and I put my prayers and thoughts out there that something happens regarding to this. Moving on, before I say something else I shouldn't be saying, Shannon, you want to talk to us about more local theater?
Sure, of course. So good morning, Montclair. My name is Shannon Daly, and welcome to Finding Fridays, where we find the most recent giveaways, music, and concert announcements. As you've heard before, the world always needs more art, and that includes live performances. So WMSC allows a slew of recent giveaways, including Meet Me at the Altar that happened last night at Irving Plaza. They were joined with Honey Revenge, John Harvey, and Elliot Lee. Additionally, for their second time with WMSC this year, Sammy Ray and the Friends are back at the Wilmot Theater on February 9th on their camp tour. The show will start at 8 p.m. And as always, you can find more information about this show, Meet Me at the Altar, and all of our other giveaways at wmsc.com/giveaways. On the release radar this morning includes a new Justice and Tame Impala collab entitled One Night, All Night. Tame Impala has been on a roll of releasing collabs, including recent ones with Thundercat and Gorillaz in the last few years, but no announcement of any album in the works. Cavetown also announced a song at midnight named Let Them Know They're On Your Mind, anticipating their new album and tour, including a surprising new lineup with Cavetown, Mother Mother, and Destroy Boys announced last Friday. They'll be visiting New York twice, the only city with back-to-back dates in July. The Pixies also announced a tour on Monday with Modest Mouse in June at the Forest Hill Stadium in Queens. Tiger's Jaw, in addition, going on their spring tour with Movement, are doing a mini acoustic Atlantic tour, visiting New York in February for a Valentine's Day themed set. And additionally, in a tour announcement that shocked the industry, Avril Lavigne is coming back with her first tour in 5 years with a star-studded lineup of All Time Low, Simple Plan, and Royal and the Serpent twice in New Jersey, one at PNC Bank Center, and one in Camden's Freedom Mortgage Pavilion.
Yes!
So exciting. Green Day, in anticipation for their release last Friday of their 14th studio album, announced they will be playing two of their highest-rated fan albums, American Idiot and Dookie, and will be played full on their upcoming tour with Smashing Pumpkins.
I should be there.
I was there too. Mom Jeans, a fan favorite here, is going on their spring 2024 with some heavy hitters like Honey, Origami Angel, Free Throw, and announced their tour is going to follow a Spirit Week theme, some of which have been so far cowboy hats, pajamas, and overalls. New Jersey's date is yet to be announced, so I would like to ask the audience, what do we think would be a great Spirit Week theme for the New Jersey date at Starland Ballroom?
Listen, I have to say, it has to be Wawa themed. What else is such an integral part of Jersey?
Now, how would you pull
That
that
would
off?
be funny. People dressing up in like hoagie, like rappers or something.
Yeah, you could be a hoagie. You could dress as a Wawa worker, perhaps. You could be an icy.
I have my Wawa worker outfit. I'm feeling like I should bring it with me.
I think that'd be great.
I think we also have been seeing a lot of comments on their Instagram talking about like a Jersey Shore themed. So maybe like leopard print and big sunglasses.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
some Snooki influence.
See, that's more realistic.
That's
But I like the
terrifying.
Wawa one better.
I think the Wawa would be so funny. And they are quite a funny, silly band. So I think they would love that idea.
Where are they from? Are they from this area?
I actually don't know.
Hmm.
They seem like they're from this
Right, they're
area.
kind of giving East
have-
Coast, giving Jersey,
They definitely have
perhaps.
Philadelphia vibes.
Hmm.
Joycey. Ay, Dios mío. I'm excited for all of this. I'm not so excited that from what I've heard, All Time Low will not be here in Jersey with Avril.
Yeah,
But
that's been happening. Origami Angel, one of my favorite bands, is also not playing in the tour with Mom Jeans. They're playing in Silver Springs, Maryland for some reason. And that's the only time they're really playing.
what I'm hearing is road trip, but I'm also hearing something drop.
It's so surprising to me when the artists that I think are pretty big and that should be coming to Jersey because it's, Jersey or New York aren't coming here. And it's like, what are you doing in Minnesota?
I feel like Jersey is losing its novelty, and I'm not a fan. We need to start something.
Well, well, luckily, if you didn't know, Justin Timberlake is playing
Yes.
a one-time show in New York City on January 31st. Entering is only open today until 11:59.
Someone
p.m.
tell
It's
Emo.
free. It's free too.
It is free.
Yes, I looked up on it and they only are charging like $1 like on your credit card just to make sure that like your ticket has gone through.
So if you want, you are more than welcome to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
If you want.
I mean, I've never seen Justin Timberlake. I didn't know he was even touring anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's
That's great.
yeah. Yeah.
I guess this is more for his own enjoyment. If
It probably is.
He just wants to come.
yes.
I mean, who doesn't want to come to New York?
So I'm going to give all of you guys time to process whether or not you will be going to see Justin Timberlake. I'm going to give you some Sammy Ray of the Friends. And when I come back, we will have a very special guest, Montclair State related. So please stay tuned. You are listening to the Morning Buzz, where music stays cooler than Sammy Ray and the Friends. So am I. We're going to be talking about James Corden.
He did step near music though.
Oh, don't tell
With the
me
carpool karaoke? Or
No,
that's not what you mean.
I'm talking about Into the Woods.
Don't
Oh.
tell me.
Oh
So we're not going to be talking
no, not
about
Cat.
that, but he does have a new interview series on SiriusXM titled "The Life of Mine" with James Corden. Oh my God, I can only imagine what that's going to be. After he wrapped up 8 seasons of The Late Show last April, this new series marks his first major announcement since then because he doesn't already have enough. The official logline for the show states, featuring in-depth, richly produced conversations between Corden and a variety of prominent guests on the people, places, possessions, music, and memories that made them. The Life of Mine will will tell the never-before-heard stories that shaped the people at the top of their field across film and television, sports, fashion, music, theater, business, and more. End quote. Now, this is set to release on February 1st on the new channel dubbed Stars, Channel 109. Other shows that will run on Stars include The Spotlight with Jessica Show, Why Won't You Date Me with Nicole Byer, and more. New episodes are expected to air Thursdays at 5 p.m. Some guests that are set to be featured on the show included Martin Scorsese, Kim Kardashian, Kris Jenner, Tom Ford, Jeremy Renner, and more people that nobody else wanted to have on their shows. New episodes. Yes, you already hear. New episodes are expected to air. Will we be tuning in to everybody? I can already feel the no's coming.
No.
I mean,
I'm
I
not the
won't-
biggest fan.
I won't be tuning in, but I mean, good for him for, I guess, having a comeback.
I never thought I would hear Martin Scorsese and Kim Kardashian spoken next to each other in the same sentence.
Oh my gosh. Shannon is itching to say.
I think he had one good thing, and that was carpool karaoke. And then everything else after that, horrible.
I personally like
Cringe central.
when he would bring on One Direction, but onto his show.
Oh, the Directioners are losing their minds. That might be what he's known best for.
Honestly, yes, because those like little segments that he would do with them, they were
Listen,
iconic.
Nothing will top One Direction's appearance on iCarly.
Ooh.
That is true. That is true.
That-
Yes.
I became a temporary directioner for that 30-minute episode, and I never returned.
A little blast to the past, JT.
Oh,
Yes.
too fast, too
Yeah.
far.
Although, I will say about this, I personally am not a big fan of quote unquote personalities having shows simply because they're them and they talk about whatever, even though maybe it doesn't, it's not really needed. But, in this case, it is kind of an interesting concept. I think if you care about the guest he's talking to, the fact that it's
But it's
never
Kardashian.
before heard. What?
But it's Kim Kardashian, though, so how much care is there?
They're big fans,
People
big
are-
big Kardashian stans. And who's not willing to hear a never before heard story? Maybe there's something juicy, but
Mm.
maybe it also isn't.
None of you are TMZ correspondents, are you? Because the last time I said this opinion, somebody happened to be working for them.
Yes, I know who you're referring to.
But yes, I cannot stand celebrity gossip. It irks my soul. It really does. Every time I open my feed and it's Taylor Swift. Looks like she gained a pound. Kim Kardashian with another man. I want to throw my phone every time I see it.
Sometimes it's a little juicy, though. It depends on the celebrity.
I
in
just
my
find
opinion.
myself asking myself, why do we care? And I make the mistake of opening the comments, and people do care. And they're like going in on think pieces and going, well, because I know her personally, I think she does this. Her boyfriend definitely sleeping out on her. And I'm reading these comments and I'm like, oh my God, I never knew all of you knew these people personally. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, people take celebrities' lives way too seriously, and someone that has definitely happened with Ariana Grande. And as you guys know, she's been involved with the new Wicked movie. So let's hear a little bit more about that. The pop star took an emotional post to Instagram about her time playing the one and only Glinda alongside Cynthia Erivo's Elphaba in John M. Chu's upcoming Wicked film. Grande wrote to her Instagram story, I will never forget even a minute of my years with Glinda, or you, or my sin, permanently and preferably intertwined. I am so inexplicably thankful that we got to add so many soggy eyelashes to the collection. The singer seemingly confirmed that the film finished wrapping up more than a year after filming started in the UK in 2022. Filming was originally supposed to finish in July 2023. However, the Hollywood strike interfered. Looking closely at the film, there have been minimal sneak peeks of it. One sneak peek included Grande showing off the unmistakable silhouette of her pink Glinda gown. The movie is set to release on November 27th, 2024. Even though Grande's time on Wicked has come to an end, she scored her 8th #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100 chart for her newest single, Yes and. Honestly, I haven't heard very much about it, which clearly, they haven't really been having very many sneak peeks about it, and this has been going on for a while. But
Somewhere down the line, I heard that it was canceled, and I'm
Really?
very happy to hear elsewise.
Canceled. Interesting.
it's still that there's going to be a sequel to it that they're
No,
making.
they are making two
They
parts.
are making two parts. That's what I meant, not a
November
sequel.
of 24 is where part one is slated to be released. I don't know if the strike is going to impact that or not. But I do remember seeing I don't know whether this is just a product of articles juicing up the wording for the effect, but I do remember briefly seeing, yeah, because of the strike killing scenes that they were just gonna just like drop it.
No, I think that was just gossip.
And I just remember thinking, there's no way. First of all, at that time they even said, yeah, we're almost like a third of the way finished anyway. And I'm like, there's no way with like you have like what 2-3 more scenes to finish. Even if you can't finish filming, you're gonna find a way. Like you have to find a way.
I mean, this
But-
movie is very, very anticipated for not only theater people, but Ariana Grande fans and probably just the whole general public, I feel. Wicked is such a cultural phenomenon.
You know what I'm
Yes.
wondering is the last few movie musicals that have come out, Wonka and Mean Girls, have not been advertised as musicals.
I
And
don't think they're
Wonka
gonna do that with
Wicked
this.
is going to be advertised
I don't-
with music.
I don't think they're gonna have a choice but to.
Yeah.
Because the difference
yeah.
between that, you're also Color Purple is also something, and the difference between those three and Wicked is those three were advertised as remakes of the movies that inspired. Like as a reminder, there's several different formats. A lot of the general public knows the movies and didn't even know that those three adaptations were made into Broadway musicals. So when they saw the remake, they saw the advertising as we're just remaking the movie that came out X amount of years ago and not we're taking the musical and turning it into a movie. With Wicked, everybody knows Wicked's a musical.
Yeah. It's on Broadway,
There
so
is
it's
no movie adaptation.
yes. So it's already hinted that it's going to have music involved.
That'd be kind of funny if people are like, what do you mean Wicked's a musical?
I
What are you talking
I
about?
generally wouldn't be surprised, but
I
feel
feel,
like-
That'd be kind of funny.
I feel like this movie, kind of like pivoting a little bit, is going to get a lot of attraction because of Ariana and her relationship to one of her co-stars. So I feel like people are going to not only tune in because they've grew up watching Wicked, but also because of Ariana Grande and all of the relationship gossip surrounding her.
Definitely.
I agree. Yeah, I always thought it was a little weird that Ariana Grande with her dark like Italian features is playing a blonde girl and her bleached eyebrows are definitely look.
I mean, I don't, the blonde, it's,
I mean,
it's there.
she has the voice, which I feel like because I mean she's Ariana Grande, she has the name and she has the gorgeous voice, and I'm when they announced the casting of it, I was not surprised at all.
She does have the voice, but she had to, personally for me, I feel like she had to have gone through a lot of vocal training because Ariana Grande is kind of known for not pronunciating in her songs. Like sometimes like you'll listen to her music and it's like, what is she saying?
Well,
That's true.
she probably had to go back to her roots a bit. She
Yes.
was on Broadway as a child.
Yes, in the, what was it 13?
Mhm.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, 13.
Yeah, so
I
she
love
was.
that show.
Her and Liz Gillies were. Yes.
I'm
Oi,
excited for the movie.
I'm excited
Very
for the
hype.
movie too. I can't wait to see it, and I have not heard. Yes, and surprisingly,
You have not?
no. I might have to
Oh.
give it a little bit of a listen.
It's personally, it's okay. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but
Let's
to
hope
each
you're
their
a
own.
better fan of JT. Because JT is also Justin Timberlake also been releasing new music. No, I've not been releasing new music. It's Justin Timberlake really selfish. You see what I did there? I'm glad I actually read your headline, Nicole, because sometimes Nicole throws in odd choices for segues, but I'm actually proud of you for this one. So let's give it up for Nicole, y'all.
Justin Timberlake is making a comeback, as like Shannon just mentioned. Him and his former group NSYNC, they just did a little like reunion on Trolls 2. They came out with new music on there, so he's making a music comeback.
I will stand by it. His best song is TKO. Cry Me a River is close behind, but
There was a good one.
I love Cry Me a River. I don't care who's about.
It's
Okay, good song is a good song. Like, listen.
About.
Who's about now your question?
Okay, allegedly, it's allegedly about Britney Spears. I don't care enough.
Oh wow.
full circle moment, bringing that back.
I don't care enough to know if it's true or not, but it's a good song either way. So whoever it's about, Britney or whoever broke his heart to write that song, do it again because that was a bang.
Oh,
I'm serious. People write their best songs when they're heartbroken. I want somebody to rip Bruno Mars's heart out of his chest because our best music from him was what's the
Catch a Grenade. OMG.
When I Was Your Man? What album is that? That's Unorthodox Jukebox.
Is one of his best works.
I agree, but I love
them.
them. It's so
Do
good.
we like Anger Bruno or Sad Bruno better?
I mean,
He has so much angry music.
What's the one song
He has like
with the one part that I can't repeat that I'm thinking of?
I don't know.
I'm trying to remember the name of that song.
Smoking out the window?
That one.
Out the window.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, do we like Angry Bruno or Sad Bruno better?
I mean, Bruno just hits in general,
He does hit.
so I can go for
I
either
was about to
or.
say he should have played the Super Bowl, and then I remember he already did with Beyonce.
Yeah.
He should
I
be
am
solo?
very excited for Usher though. A lot of people have been sleeping on Usher, forgetting
Usher.
this man defined an entire generation of dance EDM. So I'm ready for that energy to be brought to the big game. That is very, very soon. I'm sure Earl will give us a big earful. I don't even care who's playing. Usher's playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very excited for always the halftime shows, especially like last year and a couple years ago was fire.
Yeah.
Who have been your favorite acts, everybody?
I gotta say top three. It's gotta be Michael Jackson,
Mm.
Beyonce and Bruno, and then
That one was my favorite.
the Dr. Dre mashup we had a couple.
Yes, I was just thinking of that too, with Mary J. Blige and Eminem came out and stuff. Yeah, it was
I
good.
remember really hoping he'd bring out NWA as a surprise guest, and instead we got 50 Cent hanging upside down.
Yes. That was a good one though. The music was fire.
Yeah, I think definitely the 50th anniversary show with Bruno, Beyonce, and Coldplay was very iconic.
Coldplay was there too. I
Coldplay
forgot.
was there.
Yeah, they were.
It was the trio. It was really weird. Like a
Really,
strange
yeah.
Forgot. Like,
And Rihanna
Clearly
was
didn't
there.
clearly it didn't stand out for JT.
Yeah. And then
I
we
don't remember how much of that I remember. I just remember Bruno and Beyonce just like marching and just like going back and forth with their hits.
You know what was a good one? That Katy Perry. That was a Left Shark. That was a good halftime performance. She delivered. I do have to say.
Katy Perry is always going to deliver.
So
Then we go into like halftime shows that I really wanted to wonder what people were thinking. Like whoever thought it was a good idea to mesh Adam Levine and I don't even remember who he was up there with, but that was a choice.
I can't believe Maroon 5 played the halftime show.
That was nuts, and not even when they were in their prime, just like
No.
years after.
That's like Imagine Dragons playing the halftime show now.
that would be great. Maroon 5.
Wow.
The Travis Scott one was also an interesting choice. Was that the
Yeah.
same one?
Was that? I don't know.
I don't know. I
Oh, yes, it
remember-
was Maroon 5, Travis Scott, and Big Boy.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What a combination.
Wow.
I was kidding. I didn't know
Oh,
Maroon
the
5 was actually
Shakira.
on it.
Remember 2020, Shakira and J-Lo performed at
Yeah,
the
I did kinda
halftime?
like that one.
Everyone
It
was
took me a
talking
second.
about everyone was talking about that one.
Oh my gosh.
Weekend 2021.
I do remember The Weeknd. He was
I
good.
remember that too. That was like the COVID one.
Tw-
The one where
yeah.
I forget there was like not that many it was out I forget.
Wow.
It's so that year just like kind of like blurred us.
But it was like I don't think it was pre-recorded, right? Or something like that.
I don't even remember who
I
even
don't
went to
think
the Super Bowl
so.
that year. That year, I don't remember anything from that year.
2021. 2020 was the Shakira, J-Lo, Bad Bunny, J
Hmm.
Balvin. 2021 was The Weeknd. So I remember that one. Like when everyone he had like everyone like dressed in like red and stuff. So that was a good one though. And then 2017 Lady Gaga. I don't remember that one.
I remember that because that was when she jumped off of like the platform and then disappeared.
I
That
don't
was like a meme for a really long time.
Which one?
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
Hmm.
I don't remember her
I don't remember that
performing.
one either. It's clear that certain ones stand out to most people. I love talking to people about Super Bowl because, like, regardless of your individual taste in music, the Super Bowl is just about how well you can perform. Um, People want to see some of their favorite artists on stage, and sometimes I'm like, listen, they're good artists. I just don't know if they can, like, perform a Super Bowl halftime show. And sometimes that happens. I remember being very excited for Rihanna. And in my controversial opinion was I don't think she gave. And a
did
lot
not
of
give.
people were like, well, what did you expect her to do? Spit on her pregnant stomach? And I was like, no, maybe just like, I don't know. I just don't see Rihanna's music, most of it, as Super Bowl headlining. Like you
Really?
also got to think about like the artist's discography. Like if you're doing a Super Bowl, remember you got to think about the audience, you got to think about the audience size, the demographic, and you got to come with the energy. You have to be able to shut down a stadium. You could be a really popular artist. Like I've seen people say they could see Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, like big pop artists,
I want
but
him to
like
come out.
listen, they might be really successful artists, but I'm sorry, Justin Bieber does not have Super Bowl material music.
Wait a minute.
He might have
That
two. He might be able
Wait a
to do
minute. No,
Baby
no,
and
no.
Maria.
No, no, no. JT, we're gonna have to disagree on that. We're gonna have to
And I was
disagree
starting
on
to
that.
like you.
Um, but we're gonna have to disagree. I thought Rihanna's though, traveling back to Rihanna, I think she had the potential, but we also have to remember this is the first time in years that she has been put out on a stage. She's been behind the scenes working on her makeup line Fenty Beauty. So we have to like keep that in mind that I mean she's kind of getting her feet back in the industry with the Super Bowl.
All right. The rest of y'all, before we move on, who would you like to see in the Super Bowl?
Things first. Like you really didn't like Rihanna?
Yeah, I know.
I knew somebody was gonna say I wasn't feeling it. Like I was really excited for maybe that was it. Maybe I was expecting more than what I got. Like maybe I was expecting her to like bust out. I was like
Well, unfortunately, she could not do that.
that did play a factor. But I don't know. They also like some of the song choices. Like when Work came on, I'm like, of all the Rihanna songs, Work for the Super Bowl.
He works.
Work is what work works, yeah. So I thought it was good though. People were
Oh.
disappointed. They're like, she should have brought out.
Okay, that part I understand. She was pregnant. There was only so much she could do. That part I understand. Overall, though, like it wasn't terrible. I've seen worse Super Bowls. Adam Levine. But
Oh.
um, I've seen great Super Bowls that were ruined. Janet Jackson. But aside from that, yeah. But anyway, again, Earl, who would you like to see?
Bro, anybody. So Justin Bieber.
Me.
Bro, if I see Justin Bieber, I'm gonna turn it off.
Why? I think not his like I think his music is good for the Super Bowl. I think he has some hits. Like
Name.
I would
And if you say
name
never say never, I'm turning off your mic.
why? Why you don't like that song?
I like the song. It's just not Super Bowl.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like that is a good song for his concerts. I'll give him that. Never Say Never is a banger.
No, beauty. We need Nicki Minaj at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
We need Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj brings out Lil Wayne and Drake. Yeah, that would be iconic
Drake
too.
at the Super Bowl.
Drake at the Super
Okay,
Bowl.
Drake at Super Bowl if he plays anything before 2014 because everything after just went down.
Yeah.
I'm actually really surprised he hasn't played the Super Bowl yet.
He probably thinks he's too good. He has an ego.
Maybe.
I feel like watch.
He's Canadian. So maybe that has to play in something.
It doesn't matter as much to him. Oh, you guys have
Gwen, how are we feeling?
It's just you can ask me this, but nobody I want should be playing the Super Bowl. Boy Genius, like come on, like Phoebe Bridgers, yeah,
Mitski on the Super Bowl.
let's get Minsky at the Super Bowl.
Oh.
Yeah.
Listeners, I'll give you time to ponder that while we visit back to Justin Timberlake and we can all reminisce to his Super Bowl and how great he was both times. We're going to get started off. New research by American academics suggests that the best cup of tea requires a pinch of salt and a squeeze of lemon. Michelle Francil is a chemistry professor at Bryn Mawr College in Pennsylvania and adds using a short stout mug actually keeps your tea hotter since there's less surface area. Looking at the suggestions from commentators from The Guardian, they said that the smug and milk, what did I say? The mug and the milk should be warmed. The professor continues that anyone who uses tea bag should find benefits since it allows the tea to move around in more water. Professor Francel even analyzed research papers from ancient texts over 1,000 years ago, which they say this method will make the perfect cup of tea.
But what's so perfect about it? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I'm more of an Arizona tea type of dude. I'm not more of a drop a tea bag in the water type guy.
I love tea. I wonder if it's like
It's
the
so
health
good.
benefits that come with the pinch of salt and a lemon. I mean-
One time I like my tea is iced, and the last time I had hot tea, I spilled it all over my lab paper.
Oh.
So I turned in my paper brown.
That's funny.
Oh.
No comment.
So you will not be doing this, Shannon.
No, I will not. I really don't like hot tea. I think it tastes too much, like it tastes too watery.
I agree.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't like tea. I'm a coffee lover through and through. So
I'm a little curious. I think I might try it out.
Nah. The way you
I
shook
need
your
to
head,
know.
You about to say something. He got the glasses on too now. What we got?
I mean, I like tea. I just don't like coffee. Hot tea, any tea's good.
Oh, we're gonna have some beef after this too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't say my opinion on this because everybody here is a fiend. But coffee, just like, I don't know. It's dirt water, y'all.
Dirt water is crazy.
Literally.
No.
Dirt
Mm-mm.
water.
Why?
Listen, it's okay that you don't have taste, JT. It's okay to admit that on air.
Yes.
I'm
You know
really,
what?
I'm sorry for
You know, you're right. It is okay to admit it.
We
And
just
I,
have
and I'll consider it when it actually becomes the case. But no, coffee to me just like doesn't do it. I will drink coffee if I have no choice.
Wow.
Like if I'm like thirsty or for some reason an energy drink isn't doing it, and I just like need, that. But very rarely will I go out and get a coffee because the tea just doesn't do it for me. And I understand it's an acquired taste, but like alcohol, why would one want to acquire that taste?
Hey, it makes you feel cool.
Makes you feel cool.
Makes
Yeah.
you feel cool.
Makes you feel cool, like in the sense of if I don't have coffee by 2 a.m., I get really cranky. 2 p.m., I get really cranky and irritated and sleepy and tired.
I like to have my iced coffee next to me, and I go,
Giggle.
and then I sip it.
Yes.
But Nicole actually gave us some more information about the tea, and she said that salt breaks bitterness. So I
That
suppose
works in coffee, too.
that's why they're doing that. I wonder, that would be interesting to try a pinch of salt in coffee.
Hmm.
Oh, sorry, that was according to Annabella that salt breaks bitterness.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, we might have to try out a pinch of salt and a squeeze of lemon and
We're gonna
maybe
have
maybe
to-
that'll make you like tea, JT.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get some exchange students. I know a couple of them, and they're gonna have to give their opinion on salt and tea because apparently they think American tea is a disgrace. They also have a lot of opinions that are just not it. But as we sip our salty tea, we can watch that really overrated cooking show that I don't know why people watch. That's Chopped. Gwen, want to talk about that?
Oh, yes, of course. Well, Chef Chris Holland of Cantina in Spark Hill, who won Food Network's Chopped 3 times, is headed to the one, the only Garden State. He will be leading the kitchen at a new Rockland County restaurant. The new American cuisine opened on December 20th, 2023, and is owned by Paul Bailey. Passion has made its way into the dining room as there are handmade dishes, as well as a large glass window where diners can watch Chef Stott and his team in action. Chef Stott specializes in New American, Northern Italian, and French fine dining.
I mean, I don't know if you guys are into cooking, but I am. I love to cook, and I want to get like, inspiration from new recipes and people. So I like how you're able to see them in action and maybe like learn something from. I don't know.
Are you a Chopped fan at all?
I don't watch Chop. I do watch the Food Network channel, but I don't. Chopped is not one of the shows that I watch. But good for him for coming to the Garden State, and hopefully people get inspired to maybe like go out and do some cooking.
For sure. Yeah, I know Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen just also came to Atlantic City,
They were.
which was their second location.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
He was filming an episode of that right across from the pizza shop that I work at. I just remember getting a text from one of my coworkers. I just saw Gordon Ramsay walk out of the bar across the street, and I go, "What is he doing here?" And then 2 weeks
Wow.
later, I saw an article that they would be featuring an episode of Hell's Kitchen over there. So I was like, "Huh, that should be interesting. I wonder what we'll find in there."
It's in one of the casinos in Atlantic City, which is interesting. I don't know if that's the same for their other location. I think it's
Mm,
I think it's in Las Vegas, the original Hell's Kitchen.
I wonder if his food is like actually good. I want to try it.
They have the frozen meals.
They
Have you seen
do.
them?
Frozen meals?
Yeah, Gordon Ramsay has like frozen meals in like the grocery stores that you can buy.
I feel like something about Gordon Ramsay and frozen meal just like wouldn't agree. Like the idea of a Gordon Ramsay frozen meal probably irritates his soul.
Yeah, he has one, and then I believe Guy Fieri also has frozen meals that you can buy too.
Hmm.
So if you, I mean, I don't know how good the meals are gonna be after they were frozen.
I don't know. I kind of want to just like go to one of these restaurants and like try the food and then just like see people's reactions if I say, yeah, it's mid.
You would say that straight to Gordon Ramsay's face.
Yeah, I want to watch them blow up like a little red tomato.
Oh,
Y'all gotta understand something about me is I go there. I don't know. Like I'm sorry, but I feel like cooking is too subjective for somebody to be renowned as like the world's greatest cook. Like like let's say like Gordon Ramsay can make anything good. I'm sorry, but there's just certain things that I don't like on my palate, no matter who makes it. Like, okay, for example, hot take. I don't like mashed potatoes. I don't care who cooks it. Gordon Ramsay could chef up his best palette of mashed potatoes, and I don't care who cooks it. If I don't like mashed potatoes, I'm gonna look him dead in the eye and be like, this ain't it." My bad,
why?
bro.
Why don't you like mashed potatoes?
Several reasons that I can't say on air. But
What?
Hate them that much?
yeah.
Well, I hope one day someone will change your mind, JT.
A lot of people say that. My favorite one is when I say I don't like something and somebody goes, "Well, you haven't had my grandma's. You haven't had this." And I'm like, "Y'all act like that's going to change the fact that I don't like it."
Well, JT, why don't we chop our way into the next story?
Thank you so much. I
I've never heard of
love
it.
it.
I've never heard of somebody vandalizing somebody else's property with pepperoni.
I love that they got like first person accounts from an auto body and a pizza place to explain the story.
What would you guys do if you woke up and everything was covered in pepperoni?
I would
Bursting out
applaud
I would
them.
laugh.
I would applaud them. This is genius. With all the chaos that we cover, with all like the insanity going on in the world, just the sadness and the bitterness and the heartbreak, we need good old fashioned. Like we need to bring back TPing people's houses. We need to bring back like classic, just childish fun for like nothing of it. And like this is original. We could go back to TPing people's houses, but no, we bring pepperoni. Now, I for one, I'm not Italian, but I stand by, and I'm sure my Italian. You're Italian, right, Nicole? Okay, for once you're useful. Well, I bring back pepperoni. I say we should bring it back. And Nicole, if I were to go pepperoni somebody's houses, would you join me?
No.
Oh my God, never mind. You're no fun. I tried to be nice to you, but you won't let me. Oh my
Was
god.
it her house or was it the neighborhood?
I think it was just her
It was just her house.
She's leaving out some details. She did someone wrong. She doesn't want to admit it.
They're like, I have leftover pepperoni. I don't have anything else. Let me go vandalize their
Maybe
property.
maybe
Imagine
she was
how-
at the deli last week and
Imagine the police getting that call. Help 911. Somebody assaulted my house with pepperoni. Like the police, like everybody definitely, the police probably had fun with this. The reporter who reported this had fun with this clearly as he interviewed the auto body. Clearly he had a blast with this. Everybody was probably, she's probably the community Karen that nobody really liked. So everybody just really took advantage of this. So, not endorsed on 90.3 WMSC, but supported by JT Bethia. If you ever have a community Karen, I highly advise you to pepperoni people's houses. Once again, that is my opinion and my opinion only. But if you agree with me, well, that is your decision that I totally support. Anyway, you have been tuned into the Morning Buzz, the very first of Friday Buzz. Everybody give yourselves a hand. Y'all did good. I'm so proud of y'all. And I'm very excited for the rest of this semester. Don't go anywhere because Roy will be in here with as we're trying to read the schedule as I'm talking. L was his show, and I hope you stay tuned for all the music that he is about to bring. This is the Morning Buzz. I am JT Bethia signing out.